Hi students, let us come to our next topic in EI. So in the next topic, in today's class, we will be going to discuss about how electronic instrumentation, what are the functional blocks are available in the instrumentation, basic blocks, okay, and each and every block functions we will be going to discuss. Later on, we will be going to come with our main thing, which is nothing but the next topic, errors. So what do you mean by an error? What are the different types of errors are there? Those things we will be going to discuss in the today's class. So coming to our functional elements of an instrumentation system. So whenever we go with the functional elements, what are the basic blocks we are going to have is nothing but your primary sensing element, and the next one is nothing but your variable conversion element, and the next one is nothing but your variable manipulation element, and the next is nothing but your data transmission element, and the next block is nothing but your data presentation element. Coming to our first block, which is known as an primary sensing element. A primary sensing element is nothing but it is each and every instrument will be having this block. For this particular block, you are going to give the input as some quantity to be measured. That input you are going to give. So this sensing element will be going to read that particular input, and it is going to give the output. It will sense the data, and it will be going to give the signals, electrical signals to the electrical signals as an output. When you go with a direct temperature reading, I can't read my temperature directly. It should be first converted to my electrical signals. Then only I can say that this particular temperature is going to hold. Okay, so for that one we will be going to use as my first block, which is nothing which is sensing element block, which is acting as a transducer stage. It is nothing but a transducer stage, where based upon my instrumentation, based upon my requirements, I will be going to select any of the transducer. Okay, coming to our next block. In the next block, we will be going to see that variable conversion element. What do you mean by variable conversion element? Variable conversion element is nothing but it is going to convert the given output of your sensing element to the required conversion. Okay, so that you are going to convert it. Later on, what you will be doing, you will be manipulating that particular element. Okay, so these two blocks together we are saying it as a data conditioning elements. Next, come to that one. After doing the manipulation on the signal, we will be going to transmit it, we will be going to transfer it to the data transmission element. So your data transmission element will transmit the data to the next block, which is nothing but your data presentation element. This data presentation element is nothing but your output. In simple, input is nothing but your transducer, output is nothing but your terminating stage, output is nothing but any display unit. So in between the starting stage and the end stage, you will be having an intermediate stage. In this intermediate stage, what you will be going to do is nothing but data conditioning, and you are going to do the data transmission. Okay, you will be converting the signal into the required form, then you will manipulate the signal, then you will be creating a data, and that data will be transmitted. That will be the three basic important components of functions of your intermediate stage. In the first stage, which is nothing but your initial stage, you will be having a sensing element, and that sensing element stage is nothing but it is known as a transducer. Okay, a transducer stage. A transducer stage is nothing but it is going to convert your given quantity, input quantity, to the required output quantity. Okay, later on we will be having an intermediate stage. Next we will be going to have the terminating stage, which is going to terminate the, and that is nothing but it will going to give the output at the display unit. So this is nothing but your functional elements of an instrumentation system. Okay, comes to our next types of errors. When you go with the types of errors, basically our errors have been classified into two types. One is nothing but your static error, and the second one is nothing but your dynamic errors. Let us first come with the static errors, and it is a preview of your previous class also. Static characteristics of instruments and measuring system. Applications involved measurement of quantity that are either constant or varies slowly with time is known as a static. Okay, a constant measurement is nothing but is known as a static thing. So what are the different static characteristics? Performance characteristics we have seen, right, in the previous class. That is nothing but your static characteristics. In that we have seen that accuracy, drift, dead zone, static errors, sensitivity and reproducibility. So static characteristics are nothing but your static corrections, scale range, scale span, noise, dead time, hysteresis, linearity. So what do you actually mean by accuracy? In the last class we have seen, again I am just revising those concepts. Accuracy is nothing but it is a closeness with an instrument reading approach, the true value of the quantity being measured. What is true value? True value is nothing but your actual value which you have been measured. Is defined as an average of an infinite number of measured value. What is sensitivity? Sensitivity is defined as a ratio of the magnitude of the output response to the input response. So from output by input response, what is the ratio you are going to get? That is known as sensitivity. Coming to our first types of errors, static errors. What do you mean by static error? Static error is nothing but it is defined as the difference between the measured value and the true value of the quantity. So what is the difference between the measured value and the true value? That is nothing but it is known as an error. In the previous class we have seen. So this error we are saying it as a static error or absolute static error. What is scale range? A scale range is nothing but your deflection you are going to have. The scale range of an instrument is defined as the difference between the largest and the smallest reading of the instrument. Okay, as you take the speedometer of your bike, so in the speedometer you will be going to have 0 to something called as 120 160. So what is the scale range? Is nothing but your difference from the 0 to 160, which is nothing but your 160 will be acting. 160 will be acting as your scale range. Okay, suppose highest point of calibration is x max units while the lowest is x min units, then the instrument range will be x is in between the x min and x max. So you will be going to have the range between this one. What is scale span? Scale span is nothing but your instrument span. Okay, and this is nothing but your x max minus x min, difference between the highest and lowest calibration. What is reproducibility? Reproducibility is specified in terms of scale reading over a period of time. Over a period of time we are going to check that one, scale reading. Next, what is drift? A drift is an undesirable quality in industrial instrument because it is rarely apparent and cannot be maintained. Okay, it is an undesirable quality, okay, in the industrial instrument. So in industries, when whatever the instruments we are going to use, in that particular instruments there will be a certain change, and that deflection is known as a drift. Basically a drift will be classified as a zero drift, span drift or sensitivity drift, and the third one is zonal drift. Okay, coming to our dynamic characteristics. When you go with the dynamic characteristics, we do have 4 different types of dynamic characteristics. One is speed of response. What is the speed of response of an instrumentation? Next is nothing but your measuring lag. Okay, and the third one is nothing but your fidelity, and the fourth one is nothing but your dynamic error. Okay, these are nothing but your 4 different characteristics of your dynamic characteristics. These are dynamic characteristics, and the previous one was static characteristics. What is speed of response? A speed of response is nothing but it is defined as the rapidity with which a measurement system responds to the changes in the measured quantity. Okay, so as soon as you change your input, with what speed, with what rapidity, the output results you are going to get, that is nothing but your speed of response. It is one of the dynamic characteristics of measurement system. Why we are saying it is a dynamic characteristics of a measurement system? Because the when you give an input, as soon as if I get an input at the same time, then that particular instruments will be preferable, mostly preferable by the customers. But if you get that particular response after a delay of 5 seconds, 10 seconds or 1 minute, do we prefer that one? Like for example, you are using your mobile phones. Okay, when I am switching from one app to another app, okay, this is my input, I am switching from one app to another app, but due to some problem, your mobile phone is taking around 1 minute of time to shift from one app to another app. Will that particular type of mobile phones, will you people will accept it? No. So ultimate goal of any instrument is nothing but the speed of response should be high. Okay, that is why it is known as one of the dynamic characteristics of a measurement system. Coming to the next dynamic characteristic is nothing but your fidelity. Fidelity is nothing but it is defined as the degree to which a measurement system indicates the changes in the measured quantity without any dynamic error. A measurement system indicates the changes in the measured quantity without any dynamic error. Okay, so what is it means is nothing but at what degree, at what percentage, if I am going to change my input changes quantities, how it has been affecting that one, that is known as a fidelity. Coming to a dynamic error, it is the difference between the true value of the quantity changing with time and the value indicated by the measurement system if no static error is assumed. It is also called the measurement error and it is one of the dynamic characteristics. What do you mean by dynamic error? Dynamic error is nothing but your true value. What is the actual value of your quantity? As soon as I am changing my time, whether that particular quantity value will remain same or it is going to change. That measurement error is nothing but it is known as a dynamic error or measurement error. It is one of the best, one of the dynamic characteristics of your. Coming to the next characteristics, measuring lag. Measuring lag is nothing but a lag, that is delay. It is a retardation, delay in the response of a measurement system to changes in the measurement quantity. Okay, it is a retardation, delay in the responses of a measurement system, okay, to change in the measurement quantity. So generally we do have two types of delays. One is nothing but a retardation delay and the second one is nothing but a type delay. What is retardation delay type? Retardation type delay is nothing but the response begins immediate after a change in measured quantity has occurred. Okay, the output, the response will immediately changes. Okay, in the measure as soon as the measured quantity has been changed. Okay, so the time taken, the time which you will be taking for the particular instrumentation to for change in the input measured value, that is nothing but input quantity, then that is known as a retardation error. Time delay is nothing but the response of the measurement system begins after a dead zone after the application of the input. Okay, time delay is nothing but I have applied the input. Okay, after applying my input, by what time I will be going to get my output. Actually, you should get it from after 1 second. I should get the output. Okay, so here my dead zone is what? 1 second. After that 1 second, if it is still taking time to get the output, then it is known as a time delay. Coming to the errors in the measurements, generally we say it is a limiting errors. Limiting errors are nothing but it is also known as a guarantee errors. Guarantee errors is any instrumentation. If you try to build, there will be a 100. There will be a 99%. You will be going to have some of the other errors. Those errors are nothing but it is known as a guaranteed errors. Other next one is nothing but your known errors. Known error is something but okay, we know that error. Okay, let us come with the classification of one errors. We will be going to have gross error, and the second type of error is something about your systematic or cumulative error, and the third one is something about your random or residual or accidental error. Again, your systematic or cumulative error is again classified into three types. One is instrumental, other is something about your environmental, and the third one is something about your observational error. Coming to our first one is something about your gross error. What do you mean by gross error? A gross error is something about your human mistakes in reading, recording, and calculating the measurements results in these gross errors. When we take our reading, due to some problem, you will be taking a wrong reading. Noting down the wrong reading, recording the wrong reading, or calculating measurements. If you are doing the wrong, then that type of errors are known as an gross errors. The experimenter may grossly misread the scale. Okay, due to some cases, due to scale deflections or something like that, you will be going to misread the scale. Okay, example, due to oversight instead of 21.5 degrees centigrade, they may be reading as 31.5 degrees centigrade. So if you have the sight, you may be changing the value can be changed the way you are going to see. They may transpose the reading while recording, like okay, so they will be going, sometimes they may be as you will be reading 25.8 degrees, but you will be noting as 28.5 degrees. So that is nothing but your gross errors. What is systematic errors? As we have told that systematic errors are of three types. One is something about your instrumental error, second is something about your environmental error, and the third one is something about your observational error. What is instrumental error? Instrumental error is something about your this error arises due to three reasons. One is due to inherent shortcoming in the instrument, due to misuse of the instrument, due to loading effect of the instrument. So your instrumentational errors will be going to occur by three types. One is something about your shortcomings in the instruments, and you are going to misuse of the instrument, and you are going to load the effects or loading effects of the instruments. This type of errors are nothing but you are known as an instrumental errors. Coming to the next type of error, which is known as an environmental error. What do you mean by environmental error? These errors are due to the conditions external to the measuring devices. They may be effects of temperature, pressure, humidity, dust, or of external electrostatic or magnetic fields. So sometimes when you purchase any electronic devices, at the start of the that is nothing but as soon as you purchase, the functionality of that particular systems will be working very, very fast. But as the age goes on, as the days will goes on, due to my temperature effects or due to pressure, humidity, dust, what happens, those particular instrumentation will be going to will be working in a slow or delay fashion. So that type of errors are known as an environmental errors. Coming to the next errors are nothing but your observational errors. What do you mean by observational errors? Observational errors are nothing but it is known as an parallax errors. Okay, the error on account of parallax is known as an observational error. Observational error is nothing but as the way you read the observe the data, or the way you read the data reading those, if you read it in and if you get in some error, then it is known as an parallax error. Like if it is showing the needle is showing at 0.2, but you are reading it as 0. You will be seeing it as 0.4, then it is known as a parallax error or observational error. Okay, so these are nothing but three different types of systematic errors are available. Coming to the next error, which is known as an residual error. So what do you mean by residual error? Let us see. These errors are due to multitude of small factors which changes or fluctuate from one measurement to another measurement. The happenings or disturbances about which we are unaware are lumped together are called as random or residual errors. Hence, the errors caused by this are called as random or residual errors. Okay, we don't know, there will be some disturbance. Due to some disturbance, I am getting an error or fluctuation in my measurement. From one measurement to the other measurement, I am getting some fluctuation. It can be based upon my airflow, or it can be based upon some unnecessary material, unnecessary dust particles placing over there. Okay, so that gives rise to a residual error or random errors. Okay, when you purchase the gold, if the gold is been placed on the weighing machine, and if without any closed box, then the measurement will be going, you will be getting some more measurement. Okay, if you keep it in a closed box where there is no passage of air, then at that time you will be getting the correct measurement. Okay, so this is nothing but this type of errors are nothing but it is known as an residual error or random errors. So coming to our next one is something about calibration. What actually you mean by calibration? A calibration of an instrument is important since it affords the opportunity to check the instruments against a known standard and a subsequent to find the errors and accuracy. Okay, we need to calibrate our instrument is very important, because we need to afford the opportunity to check the instrument against the standard, known standard, and subsequent to find the errors and accuracy. A calibration procedure involves a comparison of the particular instrument with either a primary standard or a secondary standard, okay, with a higher accuracy than the instrument to be calibrated. Okay, an instrument of known accuracy. Okay, a calibration is nothing but whenever you are going to have some meter, okay, some instrumentation, if due to some problem it is showing a wrong information or wrong thing, what you will be going to do, you will be going to compare it with a primary standard based upon my instrumentation. Based upon my instrument, I can compare with the primary standard, or I can compare with my secondary standard, or I can compare with my accuracy. Okay, in the previous instrument, previous calculations, what is the accuracy? So based upon that one, I will be going to change or deflect or something, like if some instruments will be having some screws, I'll be going to move that screw, or I'll be tightening that screw. So by that you are going to calibrate your instrument. Okay, so this is nothing but your calibration. Coming to our next topic, standards. What do you mean by standard? A standard is nothing but any measurement will be having it has been defined by the some basic building blocks. We will be going to define a standard rules. Okay, this is standard rules. if this much of weight box is there, then it is known as an 1 kg or 1 gram. There should be one standard thing should be there. Using that only you are going to create the other instrumentation or other standards. So those are nothing but it is known as a standards. A standard is a physical representation of a unit of measurement. Okay, it is a physical representation of unit of a measurement. The term standard is applied to a piece of equipment having a known measure of physical quantity. So if you are going to having a known measurement of physical quantity, then for that one we will need to have a standards. So when you go with the standards, we do have various different standards are available. First is international standard, second is primary standards, and the third one is national secondary standards, and the fourth one is nothing but your working standards. What is international standards? International standards are nothing but defined based on the international agreements. Okay, internationally everyone will agree with this one and they will come with some standard that is known as an international standard. What is primary standard? Primary standard is nothing but it is maintained by national standard laboratories. In the national only there will be some laboratories are there. They based upon their discussion they will say that this is my standard. Okay, this much of quantity gives me this much of 1 gram or something like that. So that is known as a primary standard. What is secondary standard? A secondary standard is nothing but it is used by the industrial measurement laboratories. Okay, in the industrial measurement laboratories you will be going to use a second standards. And the third and the last one is nothing but your working standards. Working standards used in a general laboratory. In our general labs which we will performing some experiments, in that labs we will be using a working standards. So basically there are different types of standards. One is international standard, second is primary standard, third is secondary standard, and the fourth one is working standards. Okay, so these are based upon your standards. Okay, thank you. Next class we'll see with the next topic.